In this video, I'm going to be going over some stocks that I think would be pretty decent picks for beginners, and specifically I'll be looking on the Robinhood app. But before I get into the video, if you haven't checked out my channel before, I talk about investing and the stock market. So if you're interested in anything like that, definitely head over onto my channel right here and consider subscribing. But other than that, I'm going to go right into the Robinhood app over here. Open it up, and I'm just going to be sharing my screen during this video because honestly, a lot of people who follow my channel seem to use the Robinhood app, and a lot of people just this is their main brokerage account, so I'm just going to show stocks that are available on here that are pretty decent for beginners as well. And the Robinhood app, I think, actually is probably the best brokerage for beginners also, and even people with a little bit more money like myself. So if you're a beginner investor, I'm guessing that you probably don't have a whole lot of money, or not that you don't have a whole lot of money, but you're probably not going to just jump in and put even a couple thousand in right away. You're probably going to start off relatively low. I know when I started on the Robinhood app, I wasn't like 100% sure how legitimate it was and everything like that. So I think my first deposit ever was only like $100, and then I put in like another $500, and then since then I've been putting in money pretty continuously. But anyways, getting on with it, most of these stocks I actually own in my portfolio, so I don't think there's any actually that I don't on this list right here, even though there's probably decent stocks out there that you still could own that aren't necessarily on this list. But to start off the video, one stock that I think could fit pretty nicely into a beginner portfolio is Coca-Cola, ticker symbol KO. And why I chose this stock, because it doesn't have great growth, but it is a very, very safe stock with a decent dividend at 3.23%. And this is a really large blue chip stock that probably isn't going anywhere anytime soon. It's a stock that's pretty widely regarded by and known by as Warren Buffett being a very big shareholder of it as well, and it's relatively cheap, and by cheap I mean it's under $50, only at $44 right now. So I think this stock could be a great stock for beginners because it offers some safety as well as a good dividend yield, so you're pretty much guaranteed returns regardless of how well the market performs or not. The next stock I'll be talking about that I also own some shares of is Nike, ticker symbol NKE. And if you're a beginner investor, there's a good chance you probably know Nike. You might even wear Nike. I wear Nike all the time. Pretty well-known company. Nike, I talked about them in the past more in depth, but I'm not going to go like in crazy in depth in this video because if you're a beginner investor, you might not honestly care that much about it. But overall, Nike, very good valued company, good dividend yield, 1.32. They have room to increase this dividend yield, and they have been a little bit in the past, and I definitely think they will in the future. Nike actually has pretty decent growth, 1 year 18%, 5 year 158%, so it's a good grower, but at the same time not growing at way too high of a rate. Nike has been expanding its online sales as well as other departments in it that have been huge. If you look at other retailers similar to Nike, I can't think of any specifically off the top of my head, but retailers that are like in the textile business and the clothing, shoe business, whatever it might be, they have been struggling quite a bit over the past couple of years due to Amazon. But as you can see right here, Nike has pretty much only gone up, and they have been doing pretty well. And I bought Nike at right around $55, which I thought honestly was a great buy-in point. But still right now, you definitely could still buy in if you're on it for the long term. The next stock I'll be talking about, if we scroll down a little bit more, is Starbucks, ticker symbol SBUX. And Starbucks, once again, very similar to Nike in a lot of like stock-wise regards, in terms that it's close to the same price, around $58. Its dividend yield is very close to them as well. Similar size company, similar PE ratio. A lot of things are pretty similar. Not that their companies have anything to do with each other or anything like that. But Starbucks, once again, a pretty decent company that I actually like investing in, and Nike and Starbucks I'm probably going to add quite a bit more, especially if Starbucks dips down again. Starbucks up almost 10% in the year, 122% in the past 5 years. So once again, pretty decent growth, but nothing anything like amazing or crazy growth, or like obviously bad growth or negative growth or anything like that. So Starbucks has been performing pretty decent, and once again, like Nike, I've talked about it more in depth in the past. I'm not going to go too much in depth, but I do like Starbucks, their business, their motto. It's actually kind of weird, the business model that Starbucks has. It's all the way up from like CEO all the way down to like your very, your normal barista. They have an amazing management model. They have an amazing like store to store management, like everything about it. If you look more in depth past even like the statistics and numbers of the stock market, everything within the business itself is good. It's very interesting. I actually recently read a book about it, but I might post that in the link to the description if I can find like the Amazon link to it. But anyways, moving on, another stock that I think can fit very well in a beginner investor portfolio is this one right here, Pfizer, ticker symbol PF. And this will get you a little bit of diversification because it's a healthcare stock. If you're a beginner investor, you might not, be aware of a whole lot of healthcare stocks out there, or you might be only hearing ones that are like risky. But Pfizer, blue chip stock with a solid, very, very reliable dividend. I believe they've been giving out for quite some time. The only thing, a couple days ago, I picked up a video of dividend stocks. I think it was called like best dividend stocks or 10 best dividend stocks for 2018. I did not put Pfizer in that simply because in the 08-09 they cut their dividend along with a whole lot of other companies, and if there's another recession or another dramatic stock market drop, that probably would happen again. But it's still, their dividend yield still was like considerably high considering how much their price dropped. But anyways, besides that, really solid stock overall. And even though it did drop during the recession, as did pretty much every other stock in the market, it didn't drop as much. But Pfizer is a pretty reliable blue chip healthcare stock with a decent dividend yield that is also cheap, and that's probably like the main thing. At $36 right now, it can fit pretty nicely into smaller portfolios. The next stock I'll be talking about, which I guess technically isn't a stock, is this ETF right here, SPHD. And if you're a totally new investor, you probably don't know what ETFs are, but basically you could think of them as like they get traded like a stock, but they're a fund, so they hold other stocks for you. So this one is called the PowerShares S&P 500 High Dividend Portfolio. They're high dividend. They hold high dividend yielding stocks that have low volatility. And if we go down to the description, it pretty much explains what I just said. They picked the 50 least volatile names chosen from a short list of S&P 500 highest dividend yielding securities. So these stocks, by the least volatile, it means that they don't go up and down a whole lot. So if we go to the year mark or the 5-year mark, there's actually a little bit drop, but if you could see it on the 5-year mark a little bit better, it pretty steadily increases. There's not a whole lot of dips and drops. Obviously there is every now and then because those were like during like probably times that the full market dropped, but I like a lot of their holdings. They have a decent dividend yield as well, actually a very good dividend yield as well, 4.1%. And overall, this is a good ETF that's also like relatively cheap, and by cheap I mean $40 range. It's a pretty good price. And one other ETF that I don't actually own is this one right here, Advisor Shares New Tech and Media. And someone actually recently, I can't remember, I believe I posted a video about this ETF in the past. Basically this ETF, as the name says, New Tech and Media, they hold some large and some small new tech and media companies. And if you can go, Google them, go to Advisor Shares and look up all their holdings, but they hold a lot of big ones like Amazon, Google, as well as some little smaller ones that are kind of up and coming, you could say. So this ETF is a very interesting one. It hasn't been out for very long. I think I posted a video like back in August or something like that when it came out, or actually it came out in July. I think I posted it like a month after it came out because some like articles were popping up about it. So if you want to get invested in those bigger companies like Google or Amazon, but don't necessarily have the money to get invested in them, this could be an ETF you might want to consider looking at. There's probably other ones out there that hold like big tech companies. This one is one of the few that I know of, and if you go and look at their holdings, you can look at that yourself. I don't actually right now know off the top of my head anyways ETFs that hold the shares that they do. I'm actually going to add that to my list. I might pick up a share of that soon, but anyways, FNG is their ticker symbol ETF right there. And another stock that you can consider adding to your portfolio if you are a beginner investor, if we scroll up through here, okay, yep, right here is Twitter, ticker symbol TWTR. And I called out Twitter that you should buy it. Obviously, I'm up quite a bit on it when it was right around $20. So I think it was around like this. Yeah, I obviously had to be like back here. I called it out in November of 2017. I think it was on my stocks to buy for that month. And I basically said that Twitter is probably pretty undervalued right now, and they aren't exactly profitable yet at the time that I was making the video. But I said they were getting very, very closer to profitability, and they were changing a lot of things with monetization, how they work that out. That was benefiting the platform as a whole, and their user growth and everything about the platform was pretty much going up. So it was very easy to see that they were going to have some decent growth, and even still, I think they're at a great buying point, and they definitely have potential to continue to increase as long as they keep their monetization up, as well as user growth and everything like that. And if you're a new investor, if you're a young investor like myself, you probably have a Twitter account, you're probably well in on Twitter, use it quite a bit. So this could be a nice social media stock that you can get into if you don't have enough money to buy, a stock like Facebook that's $181. But anyways, guys, that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like and comment below what are some stocks that you think are pretty good for beginner investors. But other than that, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. And like I said before, if you haven't checked out my channel before, I talk about investing in the stock market. So if you're interested in anything like that, definitely head over onto my channel and consider subscribing. But other than that, guys, thanks for watching.